Hello and welcome to the On Pointless podcast. I'm your host, Curt. Our intro question for this week is, if you could be known for one thing, what would you like it to be? Alex?
I guess I would probably go with being the funny one. Because future Curt thinks I'm the funny one, so...
Really leaning into that one review, eh?
I don't get many reviews, so I'll take it.
Chara?
I want everyone to know me as a good cookie maker because I love making cookies and feeding it to people, and I hope my life hasn't been a lie.
Okay, not just general baking, specifically cookies?
Specifically cookies. It's my favorite.
That's true, that is kind of your forte.
Yeah.
And Alla?
I want everyone to know me as the best singer ever.
As the best singer ever. You're just really confident in your singing abilities?
No. So this will be an improvement.
Fair enough.
She's taking your job.
I know, no longer the funny one. It didn't take long.
I think I would like to be known as, like, the host guy that, like, oh man, if Curt's planning something, it's gonna be a good time. Like, you know, everyone's super excited for everything that I plan. And then eventually, once I've got everyone thinking of me that way, I can really let them down and plan, like, the most boring party ever, where the dress code is just brown and nothing happens.
Brown balloons.
The bland party.
Oh, brown balloons are just ugly.
Underinflated and...
Yeah.
So like when Dwight...
Yeah.
posted that
It'll just be like that.
Yeah, I want to be Dwight. Dwight, Curt, Schrute.
Oh.
I think it's with a K, though.
Ugh, gross. You can only have one of the following 4 skills. Juggling, riding a unicycle, fire breathing, or balloon animals.
Balloon animals. No, juggling. Yeah, no, juggling.
Ooh.
I think juggling you would get the most use out of,
Yeah, everyday use.
but I feel like fire breathing would be the coolest, and that would probably be where I'd go.
I think juggling because you could do it anywhere and just with any object you find, so it could be really transferable. At work, at home, at the grocery store.
Well, but if you rode a unicycle and you owned a unicycle, you could do that all the time too. Like, that's super
Not in the
relatable.
grocery store.
Would they kick you out of the grocery store if you were on a unicycle? Like, there might be a no bicycling policy, but is there anything about unicycles?
They'd have to be pretty fast to catch you. You're on a unicycle.
Exactly. And what if
you
you
could
were...
ride on a grocery cart to catch you.
You could be pushing a grocery cart with a unicycle, and now you'd be like a 5 wheels
Oh.
thing.
That would be more stable.
Why aren't there 5-wheel bikes?
Because 3 is enough to be stable, so...
Well, yeah, like 5 would be kind of fun, though.
I mean, I
It's
could
like a car,
'Cause you'd
but
be-
with another wheel.
It'd be like if you were sitting on a unicycle and then you had 2 bike frames coming off in like a V shape from your unicycle.
In a V?
No.
Well, would that work?
I think that would
Wheels
work.
So you
go
need your
in.
tires to still be forward facing, so why are you
Yeah.
in a V? Why aren't you just...
No, your tires are facing forward. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're on a unicycle and then like there's 2 angled frames coming off and then 2 bicycles beside them. Kind of like it's a sleigh and the 2 bicycles are your reindeer.
That could be good. And then you could have friends on the bicycles and be a nice team.
When you think of a sleigh, you think reindeer before horses?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Hmm.
I think horses with
On a
a...
one-horse open sleigh.
I think a horse.
I
Yeah.
would think of horses on a carriage. I wouldn't think of horses on a sleigh.
I think horses would be my 3rd animal I'd think of on a sleigh. I think I'd go reindeer, and then I'd go dogs, and then I think horses.
'Cause you're
I would agree
only
with that. I would have
thinking
thought of
Santa.
dogs too. I'd have gone straight to the Iditarod.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in that movie where there's the statue, and then the dog saves all the people with the medicine.
Balto.
Oh, Balto.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was going to
that's
say
good.
Airbud. Okay, so
What was the other one?
there was
Fire breathing.
juggling, unicycle, fire breathing, or balloon animals.
It seems like juggling's an everyday thing. Fire breathing is quite spectacular, but you have to have the right conditions because, you know, you can't do that in a
Yeah.
paper factory. And then
You could once.
good ones. So I feel like balloon animals is like a party trick, right?
I also think balloon animals, you're now the life of any party you go to. Like, if you're sitting in the corner making balloon animals, there will always be a line of at least one person waiting for a balloon animal.
Does one person constitute a line?
I guess it constitutes a point, but no one's like, I was waiting in point.
And the fire breathing is dangerous, whereas
So-
balloon animals aren't.
Fire breathing is cooler though.
It is. Like, sure, you might get a lineup for balloon animals, but you walk into a room and start breathing fire, you're going to draw some attention.
That's true. You'll get a whole crowd for that, for
Yeah.
sure.
And it's a thing, you only really have to do it once, balloon
then
animals is, I don't want to say easy enough and belittle the great balloon artists in the world, but people feel like if this guy can do balloon animals, then they get a balloon animal, and you have to do one for everyone. Fire breathing, you do it once, and you're cool.
Yeah, crowd pleaser instead of just individuals.
And also you'd be the only one, whereas balloon animals would have competition.
But then they get to bring a balloon animal home with them. It's same with like if you're trying to book parties, because if none of you noticed, these are kind of like clown party skills. You're more likely to book the dude who's doing balloon animals for your kids than the fire breather, probably.
Yeah, not for kids.
Well, especially for kids, yeah. You
Think-
need
Unless they have marshmallows. Bring your own marshmallow. Everyone just holds things in front of you as you breathe on them.
I like that it was like, well, this wouldn't be safe around kids. Unless you give the marshmallows on a stick to hold near the open flame, then it's totally
It's
fine.
safe. As long as they're cooking.
Yeah.
Safety first.
Okay, final thoughts. What are we all going with?
I like the everyday juggling, because I can't juggle, and I wish I could.
I like the juggling too.
I would ride a unicycle, because I can barely ride a bicycle, so it'd be kind of funny to not be able to ride a bike, but to be able to buy a uni.
Buy a uni?
But to be able to ride a uni. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with fire breather. A thought that just came to me when you were talking about clowns is how scary would a fire breathing clown be?
That's true.
Yeah, I didn't think of that as a clown. It's like a busker, maybe.
Yeah,
Like an
they're circus kind of things.
Yeah, for sure. But they don't mix well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It Volume 3.
Yeah.
What's the scariest thing that's ever been thrown at you?
Spider.
Someone threw a spider at you?
Yeah, my brother threw a spider at me when we were painting the deck.
Aren't you like terribly
Oh,
afraid
yeah.
of
It was
spiders?
a nice big one, too.
So he just like grabbed a spider and threw it at you?
Oh, he told me he was throwing it at me, too.
That almost makes it worse. It's way scarier to be told you're going to have something thrown at you than to just have it thrown at you.
It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to throw this. It's, here's a spider, and threw it at me. I yelled so loud. That's how I was introduced to my new neighborhood.
Just the girl screaming, and it's like, it's okay, it was a spider.
Was it alive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did
That's
it
good.
hit you?
I don't remember. I acted like it did. Sure. Even if it went near me, I was going to just like freak out and think it was touching me. So, and then I didn't paint the rest of the deck. So
Did you get him back at all?
he had to paint the rest of the deck.
Oh, nice.
That's fair. I mean, would you have traded, though, having a spider thrown at you once for, like, the work of painting a deck?
No, I didn't mind painting the deck. It was a nice day, but then he threw a spider at me, and then I was very upset. Had to shower twice.
Once just isn't enough.
No.
Those spider germs, they just linger.
And I'm sure you just, like, felt spider on you for the rest of the day.
Oh yeah.
Mine is also something that I was told was going to happen before it happened, but my brother used to like to really anger my mom. So what he used to do is pretend to throw stuff around the house. Like he'd grab his rugby ball and he'd pretend to throw it at all her like fancy china and stuff.
Oh.
And one day he had like one of her like fancy plates or whatever, and he was pretending to throw it, and she was losing her mind and screaming and Jim, stop him! I'm gonna give it to Curt. I'm gonna throw it to Curt. And then he threw like the fine china at me from across the room. He was like, "Don't drop it," and I didn't. I caught it, but it was terrifying when I was in the air because I'm like, I'm gonna get blamed for this. Even though I have no participation in it, he's now brought me into the process where it's like they were throwing plates back and forth, and
Was it like a lateral rugby throw?
I think he kind of like chest passed it, but in a way where it would be like easy to catch, like kind of like an underhand chest pass where it's like you can kind of
A nice little lob.
yeah. He didn't want me to break it. That wasn't part of it, but he was throwing it into fate's hands. He was like, you know what? If this breaks, it wasn't entirely my fault.
So that was the best catch of your life.
Probably the most important catch of my life. That kept me in a house for a couple of years longer.
Yeah. Food and a roof over the head.
Yeah. What you have?
I can think of having seaweed thrown at me, which is kind of gross, but not really that bad. Just a little stringy and slimy.
No
Maybe.
knives, no torches, no fire-breathing sticks.
Oh, fire breathing stick. No.
At a show once, there was a guy in the crowd with a brick. He never actually threw it at us, but he was definitely waving around, and he threw a couple pump fakes in.
That's scary.
That was scary enough. If he had actually thrown it, that would have been really scary.
What show was it?
Luckily, in my hometown of Nanaimo.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
How is a guy at a concert standing with a brick, pretending to throw it, not kicked out at any point?
Again, it was in Nanaimo.
I guess so. The tough thing about a guy with a brick at a concert is you know he's plastered.
Ha.
If you could have a movie based on anything, what would you pick? So like anything that doesn't have a movie on it already, be it like a book or a story or something that you just like loved that they could turn into like a nice movie.
But it can't already happen because I really want Ella Enchanted to be a good movie instead of that trash pile I got.
Was that with Anne Hathaway?
Yes, that was a trash movie.
Yes, but like something that hasn't had a movie already. Something where you've read it and you're like, man, why can't this be a movie? Or like a story about somebody where you're like, oh, I love this musician. I wish they'd have like a biopic about them or something like that.
I like that you go biopic instead of biopic.
Biopic is the correct pronunciation of that word.
Oh.
I mean, there's lots of musicians that I quite enjoy, like the music documentaries and that. A real in-depth one on Primus would be pretty interesting, probably. I read a book about their early career and stuff, and it was pretty interesting. But my first thought was I recently read The Rise and Fall of Dinosaurs.
Okay.
So, sure, there's been lots of dinosaur movies and stuff, but this gets real in-depth into, like, the whole history of them.
Yes.
And so if you made, like, a in-depth mini-series about it, I think that would be pretty sweet.
Yes, I agree with that one. And really accurate dinosaurs with feathers and the very latest in dinosaur knowledge.
Especially if you made it look good. Because, like, dinosaur movies have two things. They're either, like, not actually about dinosaurs. It's like Jurassic Park or something that's, like, modern day. Or it's a historical documentary about dinosaurs, but it's, like, History Channel, so it's boring and it looks bad. If you basically made, like, Interstellar, like a movie that looked that good, but it was based on the real dinosaur times and gave you, like, a 3-hour run-through of, like, dinosaur culture, for lack of a better term, that'd probably be a pretty good movie.
Yep, I agree 100%.
Yes.
You found it.
I did it. Everyone wants more dinosaurs.
I have two very different directions I was thinking on with this question. The first, I love Kurt Vonnegut, and one of his books, Cat's Cradle, I think would make for a fantastic movie. In fact, you can make movies out of all of his books, and I would love it. But specifically that one, because it's a great story with a ton of really cool and interesting weird visuals and characters, so I think it would be fantastic. But then my other thought was, there's racing movies. Like movies about a big race car race, Indianapolis 500, Seabiscuit with horses. But like, you know, like a competitive sports racing movie. So do that. Keep it serious. But it's Mario Kart. So you do a live-action Mario Kart movie where they're like throwing shells at each other and racing around tracks with trains in the desert and stuff, but it's like done really seriously. Like,
yeah,
it's
like for adults.
It's gritty.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a gritty Mario Kart racing movie. I think that would be...
Done by Quentin Tarantino.
that might be a step far, but yeah, kind of like that. Like a death race idea, but it would be Mario Kart. And it would just be like, you'd have the most epic ending where someone gets hit with a blue shell where everyone else is like lightninged at the time.
Didn't they make a Mario movie?
Yeah,
like a live action one back in the 90s?
They did. I don't actually mind that movie that much, but it was...
Not a Mario Kart movie.
I know, I'm just
Very
saying,
different world.
like, they tried to be serious in that, I think.
They did. It was actually like a gritty, dark movie, the original Mario movie, which is kind of weird for Nintendo, but then they sort of swept it under the rug. I think they need to go back to that universe. They could do a Mario sports trilogy. They could do Mario Kart, Mario Golf, and Mario Tennis. I'd watch all of those movies.
Yeah.
And you could do the concept art.
That's true. Mario must be easy to paint, right? You can no longer bring your hands within 2 feet of your mouth for the purpose of eating or brushing your teeth. What is your workaround?
Super straw.
So you're only going to eat liquids?
I mean, I'll start there. That will be the first prototype. After that, I could perhaps create a larger tube, some kind of vacuum power to get the solids all the way to
No,
the
but you
mouth.
could just dip your head down into the bowl and eat it.
I gotta keep it classy.
I'd have like a table at mouth height and then just have like spatulas to just like shovel the food towards my mouth. Maybe a nice little funnel.
Just like 2 foot long spatulas and like, ah!
Yeah, just like with a little slope.
That's perfect. And
Chara
easy.
is-
Like a pinball machine.
I was gonna say, Chara's basically playing mouth pinball now with like reverse bumpers. She's like the bad guy at the end of the pinball table that you're trying to hit the ball into like the clown's mouth.
Yeah.
That's how she's eating. I'd like to have like 10 different spatulas, all of different sizes, and just get really good at like flipping the food into my mouth like I was flipping pancakes and just like, and then catch it. And like you'd start off by like having a really big arc, so you'd like flip them straight up and then get underneath them because it'd be easier. But eventually you would just have it dialed that you were just throwing food at your own face.
How do you eat spaghetti?
See, that's the tough thing because I like Thai food or Italian food.
You just eat one noodle and just kind of...
Oh, just like get one noodle into your mouth somehow. I guess you could do that with a straw if you like strawed one noodle into your mouth and then just like sucked it up through there. But that would not be satisfying.
I think you could make an elevator platform system where you have a winder thingy and then it goes up, 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 up when you wind, and then it goes to your mouth and you.
Oh, there's like a conveyor belt.
conveyor belt that shovels your
Yeah.
food up, and you just have a little wine.
Yeah, they're,
Like
they're
a
both
gear
sitting
at the
here
bottom.
with like crank handles, like
Yeah.
as the thing goes up the
Yeah.
conveyor belt into their mouth, which is fantastic.
It's very Wallace and
Makes a lot of
Gromity.
sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would work really well if you were eating like cereal too. Like you would just like cereal
Constant.
because you could basically do like a water wheel, so it would like pick up the liquid kind of food. Like so if you were eating soup and like bring it up and then bring the thing up the conveyor belt to your mouth and then just like dip it into your mouth.
For maximal
And then the next
efficiency.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like you can't have it that be automatic. It has to be hand cranked, right?
It's cheating if it's automatic. That's no fun.
yeah.
Well, just
silly.
like you'd have to eat at a very constant rate.
And
right?
you run out of
have
batteries.
And you'd have no conversation because it's like, sorry, I have 3 minutes to eat this bowl of soup.
Yeah. I mean,
I have to chew every 10 seconds
that'd be so...
from the soup.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how you're eating your soup.
No, that's for my noodles.
Okay, so we've solved eating in very different ways for everybody, which I appreciate. Now there's brushing your teeth.
Just lots of mouthwash and go
Yes.
see the dentist more often. Or just have
Getting mouthwash in your mouth would be... I guess you could
It's a
do it through a
straw.
straw. Oh,
Could you
Again,
have
the
a
straw wins.
that seems so disgusting, though, to, like, straw... Because sucking
just,
something
like,
into your
put a
mouth with a
little
straw and not
cup-
drinking it?
You put a little cup of it, and then you just like stick your mouth on it and like do a shot.
Yeah.
With no, so you can't swallow it. So it'd be like a little more gentle than trying to do a shot without touching.
It would be super hard to, like, in any way to get a liquid into your mouth without naturally just wanting to swallow it. If you get liquid in your mouth with a straw or a shot or anything like that, you want to swallow it.
Have you ever used mouthwash?
I have.
But imagine you had to shoot it.
Like if you had to put if you had a little
with
shot
a
thing,
straw.
like just muscle memory in a straw. Like it's hard to suck something up
Yeah.
in a straw because it takes it to the back of your mouth. You have to like suck it up to the front of your mouth, and like then spit the straw out with the liquid still in your mouth. It'd be weird.
I think I would design a straw that went up past your mouth and then back down. So really, you'd only have to suck it up till it reached the peak, and then you can close off your mouth, and it just rolls downhill into your mouth, and then you won't get that force of swallowing it.
So like a hamster straw.
That's the little ball.
Oh.
No, the hamster's got the little ball thing, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
The gravity thing.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
didn't hamsters used to have the straw that had the crook at the bottom, so that
So
it was
some of
less
them.
work for them to suck it up,
Some of them have that type.
like a
where
J
it's, like,
bend
a little
basically.
crook. But lots of them have like a little ball, so when they lick it, it hits the ball back and they get liquid
Yeah,
coming
that
out.
like a ballpoint pen. Yeah. I'm thinking more of the ones that have like the crooked straw, so it's like a little trap for water.
But it would be
The inverse of it.
inverted, yeah.
Yeah, so you just suck it up to the top, stop sucking. You have to get real good at knowing when it got to the top of that.
Yeah, well,
Clear
it's gonna
straw.
clear straw, blue liquid.
Yeah.
You're fine.
I mean, I guess you could also just like suck up a little bit, pinch the bottom. Oh no, you can't suck in a straw if it's pinched at the bottom.
I think you could get a little bristly brush that you just sort of eat and chew on for a while, and then you spit it out.
Just like bark. Just brush your teeth with like bark.
Yeah.
Yeah, but fancy science bark.
Yeah, science bark. That's good for your teeth.
It's hypoallergenic.
And mint flavored.
That's probably what you do. You'd probably just like chew on mint that was
Yeah.
like...
Well, that saves
That's-
the breast, but not necessarily getting the things out from between your teeth.
Yeah, I guess your teeth would just be
Oh.
full of mint now.
Yeah.
Flossing is the very tough thing to do.
Well, you have those floss little sticks,
Just
right?
like 2 feet
And then
long.
just have like one that's very long and just get very good at just like no,
Or a strong water pick, maybe?
Yeah.
very big toothpick.
You would poke your gums so hard and so often
You-
with like a toothpick
You
or
get
floss.
pretty delicate.
But, you know, you gotta floss regularly because I know we all do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Every day.
So I have a question. You no longer have your regular sight. You get to choose between echolocation or thermal vision. Which one do you choose?
I think echolocation because then you can see things that aren't alive still.
See things that aren't alive still?
Yeah, so like a table. You could see the table with your echolocation.
I bet the still was the was like a you can see dead things. The auras of ghosts are invisible.
I guess the table wasn't previously alive.
Inanimate objects.
I was like, does Ella know that bats can't see ghosts?
Yeah, because that's the thing with thermal vision is you can't really see walls.
Yeah, you can only see humans, animals.
You just see heat differential.
Endotherms.
But
You can see through walls.
exactly, with thermal vision, you can see through walls. So you now have a skill that no one else has. If you have echolocation, you have a skill that everyone else has, which is vision, but it's worse. Whereas with thermal vision, you can do something no one else can do.
No one else can do, but you don't know there's a wall there. You walk into it.
But what if I have a handler, or I don't rely on my sight for movement, so I use movement as though I was blind, but I rely on my sight for other things?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Get a dog and a cane.
You don't need to see, right? So you could still live your full life not using vision as part of movement. You could do that totally fine. And then have this awesome extra skill. Whereas echolocation, you're just worse at seeing than other people, I assume. I don't think it's that accurate.
But you could see at night.
That's true.
That is true. I guess, yeah,
But-
light wouldn't be a factor.
But same with thermal vision. I mean, light would just create heat. Like usually light is a heat source.
Oh, so you might be able to see a light bulb.
You would be able to see a light
Yeah.
bulb. But like you could also see in the dark if there was a human, right?
Humans can actually echolocate. You can learn
Yes,
to do
that
it.
one guy.
Yeah.
So, but then you just have to start clicking everywhere.
Yeah, you gotta practice, I
So that's the
guess.
thing with your echolocation is that you're just walking around clicking all the time.
Definitely be more annoying for the people around you.
But echolocation, you can see objects.
Yeah, but with my thermal vision, then I would just cover all the surfaces in my house with like reflective foil, leave all the lights on with like pour bulbs so that it was warm, and then just make a path of footprints on the ground so I knew there was no walls there, and as long as I always followed the footprints.
You could put heated blankets on tables.
Exactly.
them.
I would just cover every object with things so that I could see where everything was, and then I'd have this cool like heat map around the house of like footsteps. In fact, I could probably see my own footsteps. It depends how good this thermal vision is, but that heat probably stays there for a while.
I was just thinking of Predator.
Predator level heat seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had thermal vision. Did he have night vision too?
My vision's too good.
Well, yeah, night vision would be too good for that. I just mean the Predator. I feel like, yeah, I can remember picturing him with thermal vision, but he could also see, like, plants, sort of, couldn't he? I guess not, because Arnold covered himself in the mud.
So what is it? Is it looking like you see red, orange, yellow,
Yeah, you
Yeah.
get, like, the heat map.
You could just
and
see.
blue? Do you see cold?
Yeah. Well, then if everything's like one heat temperature, it all kind of blends together. Like right now in this room, you would be like the red, Curt would be the red, and the whole room would be kind of more blue because it's cooler. But if you have a very hot room that's, what's the human temperature? 21 degrees? 37?
36 point.
36. So then you
Four.
get high enough heat that you can't differentiate between people and the room. So it wouldn't be good in the tropical climates.
So I'm guessing you're going with echolocation?
Yeah, because everyone else is doing thermal. I'll be the clicker.
I'm the clicker.
I'm going thermal. If a room is the perfect room temperature, would that just be pitch black?
Yeah, I guess
Maybe it
so.
would. Yeah,
So-
yeah, you'd have to set your
Would that be the
reference point.
truest black? The perfect room temperature
Yeah,
room?
exactly a room temperature room.
And then all the objects were the same temperature. They
Yeah,
weren't
they'd-
holding any temperature.
Well, I mean, it would just be the room that's just...
Compared to my microwave at work today. It wasn't running, but it was going hot.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
See, that would be useful for cases like that.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
I see the
microwave's
problem.
broken.
Yeah.
Hey, my turkey's done.
Oh, you wouldn't know exactly what... Well, that's the thing. You take something out of the oven and you'd just be like a big wall of red. So if
Yeah.
your food was undercooked, you know.
You said, that
right
cookie's
away.
blue. Not good.
Thermal sounding a whole lot better, clickers.
Darn it.
What's a name that needs to have a resurgence?
Orge.
I don't believe Orge is a name, but if you want to have a surgence, then maybe Orge.
Yes.
You know, something like Ethel. Like a name we just don't use anymore, but it's like, in 80 years, there's not going to be any more Ethels, and that's going to be kind of sad. So let's bring back Ethel.
Bartholomew?
Bartholomew? Yeah.
Yeah, the only Bart I know is like mid-70s.
Simpsons.
The name Gary is dying out.
Well, yeah, because he was the bad guy in Pokemon. No one wants to name their kid after that.
I thought Gary Oak was
Yeah.
the scientist.
No, it was Professor Oak.
Professor Oak.
Yeah.
And then
But his first name was
the
Gary.
kid was Gary.
Really?
Yeah, Gary's
Gary
your
Oak
rival.
is his, what was it, grandson or nephew or something?
I think he's his nephew.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, it was always Ash versus Gary.
okay. I understand.
Yeah.
Old name.
Lester?
Yeah,
I don't know if that's dying out, though.
that's just not a good name.
And then you're Les for short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I know a lot of Les. It's weird. Most of the Leses that I know are short for Leslie.
But male Leslie's, because Leslie's become more of a female-dominated name. Like Ashley's and Kimberly's used to be more male.
Same
Then
with
becomes
Lorraine.
Lorraine?
Yeah.
Lorraine was a man's name?
I had a friend in high school whose dad name was Lorraine. And I always thought it was really funny because that's my mom's name.
Interesting. I heard a name today, and it was kind of funny. I was at work. And I've been talking with this person for probably about 6 months, but only through email. And their name was Tavis. Tavis. And I never knew if it was a man or a woman. I couldn't figure out if that was a man or a woman. Today I got confirmation because I called the office, and a woman answered the phone, and I was going to say, oh, hi, is this Tavis? And then I thought, I don't know if Tavis is a man or a woman. So I said, is Tavis there? And she went, no, he's just on site right now. And I was like, okay, thanks. I'll call him back later. I still haven't spoken to Tavis because he never called me back, but I got confirmation on that one. That being said, Travis feels like a name that's kind of disappearing.
Yeah.
Martha?
Martha?
Hazel's.
Hazel is a good name.
She was my neighbor when I was young.
Seems like a
She was
name
very old when I was
Yeah.
young, so
I like the name Hazel. Or like Marge.
I don't like
Like Marjorie. I don't think I know any. Like not Margaret, but Marjorie's.
Marjorie is just another way of pronouncing Margaret.
It sounds like a completely different name to me.
Oh, it's like how Catherine and Kathleen, Sean and John, they're the same names just from different languages.
just spelled differently and pronounced differently.
Yeah, Kathleen is the Irish version of Catherine. Katerina is the Russian one.
I feel like they're still different names, though.
They're considered the same name.
No, they're not.
Yeah, just different region.
That's like saying Kirk and Curt are the same name, and I hate people named Kirk.
Yeah, take that, Kirk.
Yeah, Kirk. Never gonna listen to this.
He might.
I don't know, find they're kind of different names, but they're still like from the same name family.
Yeah, if you go back far enough before they split,
Yes.
they were the same.
Which is the one true name then?
Muhammad,
Muhammad?
probably.
Where all the names split?
I feel like that's the most common name in the world. So, I guess it's probably a Chinese name.
Is it Mo for short then?
It could be.
Yeah, we had a friend named Mo, and I didn't know his name was Mohammed for so long.
Yeah,
Mo
I
is the
kind of like
best.
Mo. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, our friend Mo, he's like our friend of a friend, and he's just the life of the party. He just shows up, and he's so genuine and such a nice guy. I hope he listens to this. Mo, if you're listening, you're fantastic.
Mo shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Mo.
Oh, show, Mo.
If you had to fight a bird, what would be the worst choice?
Punching.
I thought something like ostrich.
Yeah, see, I was going to say Tyrannosaurus Rex because all
Because dinosaurs are birds.
dinosaurs are birds.
That's a good
Birds
point,
are
too.
dinosaurs. But punching's tough to beat.
It's because they have little heads like a goose. You try and punch its head, it dodge, dodge, dodge.
It's like a hummingbird. They'd be always be able to dodge you because they're so fast.
So fast and little heads. But I like your dinosaur idea.
Because I was thinking, like, my first thought is owl, because I'm afraid of owls. Because owls are stealthy and silent. Assuming dinosaurs don't count as birds, because there's no more dinosaurs, because obviously dinosaurs are the worst.
Okay, so we're saying existing.
Existing birds.
So no dodos.
Yeah, no dodos apparently, though I think a dodo would be pretty easy to beat up.
I mean, yeah.
A crow, because they're really smart. And they remember you and they
They'd
get
murder
angry at
you.
you.
And
Yeah.
they're collective, right? If you anger
Yeah.
one, many will come.
That's
and
true,
they'll follow
yeah.
you.
And for your whole life, they hold a grudge.
Yeah,
They
crows
pass
remember.
it down through their crow babies.
Crow babies.
Cronies, I believe they're called.
Yeah.
But like ostriches are a scary,
Yeah.
vicious bird. And
That'd be-
ostriches are super fast.
Yeah.
But I feel like you can disable an ostrich because it can't fly. You can climb
Fast.
Oh, it's super fast, but like depending where you are, you could climb a tree or do a thing and get away from it. Whereas like an owl or an eagle, you can't get away from that. It's chasing you. It's flying, and they got like razor sharp claws.
If it's like a swarm bird, does all the swallows attack you? Or is it just one?
I think it's just one. Let's say it's just one of the birds, because if not, like whatever the bird is, a swarm of that bird would be worse.
Yeah.
Of course.
So that's
But there's like falcons and stuff like that. Vicious, strong, sharp claws, but they normally hunt and attack by themselves. Compared to swallows, small, they don't necessarily fight you, but you have to deal with 100 of them.
fair. That's true.
So then it's like, do you fight the one single big one or many small ones?
I feel like fighting many small ones would be easier if you were using punching.
If they were punching.
Because there's more targets to hit.
Yeah.
You see those like,
Condors.
no, the swarmy ones. They have like thousands of them gather. It happens in England, and then they just like do some
those
sort of
clouds.
dancing.
Yeah,
It's like
they're
looks like
pretty.
a cloud.
So
They're
those
just
aren't
like
swallows?
might be swallows.
No, they're in England. They're swallow. Never mind.
There's some type of bird.
It's funny, you bring up falcons, and it made me think a peregrine falcon could probably kill you in one hit.
Oh yeah,
Because,
they're fast.
yeah, they can go, like, I forget what it is, like 250 miles an hour or something. They're the fastest traveling animal.
when they diving.
Yeah. So if one of those dove and just, like, clawed your head at that speed, like, that would get you.
But they're not the biggest. Like an eagle would be bigger.
Yeah, an eagle would be bigger, or, like, again, an ostrich.
Bigger talons. Like eagles and stuff like that have
Yeah.
bigger talons. Ostriches, they get a good kick in you.
But they won't come from above.
Yeah. At least you know where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't sneak up on you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm scared about an owl, is it's silent.
Yeah.
I've been dive bombed by an owl before. That's a very freaky occurrence.
And they're quite cute, so you might not want to fight it. And then by then it's already in there.
You'd be like, I can't punch this owl. And then,
Oh, it's so
And
fluffy.
it's on you, punching you.
Yeah.
would penguins be tough to fight?
No, you just push them over, they fall over.
They don't seem...
Some are big though.
I was thinking like emperor penguins are a big bird, and they still have beaks.
And they could slap you.
Like, I don't know how much an emperor penguin weighs, but
And
But
they
I
sit
feel
on
like
you.
you'd be faster than them. You could run away from, as long as you're on land.
yeah, if you're on ice though, whew.
I was going to say, if you were downhill from them, then they just like slide towards you.
I'm gonna go with an owl. Would be the one I'd least like to fight.
Yeah, owl's a pretty good one. Eagle. T-Rexes aren't allowed, then yeah. I'll go eagle.
I like Alla's idea of crows because they're so smart and they're vicious and they'll remember you. If you get away, they'll still come back.
It's the only bird smart enough to use a gun.
Yeah, I agree with the crows and the eagles. Those are what I was thinking of.
Okay, and we can all agree that the best way to take on a bird is by punching it.
I said the words.
So continuing our expression series, what is the root of the expression, go the whole 9 yards?
That has to do with football.
It doesn't, I don't think. It's nothing 9 yards.
Because the first football game, the field was only 9 yards long. And
Yes.
so if you went the whole 9 yards, you did the whole field.
That was it. That was the shortest field in the history of fields.
Oh, yeah, they didn't have 10 yards yet. They were like,
No.
9 yards is enough. And then they're like, oh my god, we're on the 81st yard? And it's like, yes, it's been the 9 of them. And they're like, too much math. Let's make it 10 so we can go to 100.
Ah, I get it.
There we go.
So you're saying each down or
Was
thing
only
is
9. Yeah.
I think it comes from ancient, not ancient, but surf times, you know? Not surfing.
Surfing.
Party on, bro.
But, you know,
Farming.
farming.
surfs.
And so instead of hang 10, they had the whole 9 yards. Because they would divide up the land into 10 portions for the serfs. And so, you know, you'd go the whole 9 yards as past everyone to the end of the property.
9 yards is not that long.
No, but not 9 yards, 9 people's yards.
Oh, 9.
I got you. I was so confused. Like, what is he talking about?
So
But
not young.
I get it. This is
Yeah.
Okay.
the owner.
This is so deep. I like it.
Yard is not a unit of measurement.
Yeah, the owner had 9
little
serfs, so he
No,
did
well,
it.
there was 10, so you'd have your own, but then you'd have to go the whole 9 yards to
Yeah.
get off the property.
That makes sense.
This is it.
So, not surprisingly, you guys are all completely wrong. So the actual root of the expression, go the whole 9 yards, is in World War II, fighter pilots were equipped with 9 yards worth of ammunition. So to go the whole 9 yards was to fire off all your ammunition trying to ground an enemy plane, which meant you went all in. You did everything you could to take that plane down because you fired 9 yards worth of ammunition.
Oh.
Fun fact.
That's everything we had for you today. Thanks again for listening to the On Pointless podcast. And as always, if you like what we're doing, tell a friend because we could appreciate some more support. Thanks again, and a shout out to everyone from Michigan. You guys are great. You're my favorite part of the audience. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
So long.
Farewell.
Bye, Mo.